The message appeared on every screen across Earth at exactly 3:17 a.m. Universal Time. Static cleared to reveal a face, not human, but close enough to understand. Its skin glowed with a pale blue light. Its eyes were too large, too dark. "We are the Luminari," it said in perfect English. "Our worlds burn. Our children die. The Void Eaters consume everything. Please, we beg for Earth's champions." General Hayes watched the message for the 12th time in the underground command center. Sweat beaded on her forehead, despite the cold air. 50 military and science leaders sat around the circular table, faces lit by the glow of screens. "They found us," someone whispered. "After all these years thinking we were alone." Hayes tapped her finger against the metal table. "The question isn't how they found us. The question is what we do now." Dr. Kane, head of xenobiology, cleared his throat. "We should send diplomats, scientists, people who could help them understand." "They didn't ask for diplomats," Hayes cut in. "They asked for champions." The room fell silent. Outside, rain pounded against the blast-proof windows. The bunker had been built after the resource wars, when half the world burned and the other half starved. Admiral Chun stood up. "We all know what's in Hangar 7. The weapons we swore never to use again." "Project Pandora," Hai said. The name hung in the air like poison. "Those weapons were banned for a reason," Dr. Kane said. His hands shook as he adjusted his glasses. "They nearly ended humanity." Hayes pressed a button. The alien message disappeared, replaced by images of 5 containment units deep underground. Each held something different. Each could destroy a civilization. "The USC Security Council has already voted," Hayes said. 7-2 in favor. Kane slammed his fist on the table. "You can't be serious." "Those aren't champions. They're monsters." "They're weapons," Hayes corrected. "And they're exactly what we're sending." Alarms blared suddenly. Red lights flashed across the room. A young officer burst through the door, face pale. "General, the Luminari ship just appeared in orbit." "It's massive, at least 30 kilometers long." Hayes stood up. "Prep the launch bay. Wait the handlers. We move in 6 hours." The room erupted in motion. Officers rushed to stations, screens filled with data. Through it all, Dr. Kane sat frozen, staring at Hayes. "You're making a mistake," he said quietly. Hayes leaned close to him. "Maybe, but I'd rather make this mistake than watch Earth burn like their worlds. You're the only one who understands the Hollow. We need you on this mission." "And if these weapons turn on us?" Kane asked. Hayes didn't answer. She walked toward the exit, her voice carrying over the chaos. "Activate Project Pandora. Full deployment." Deep below, in 5 separate chambers, lights flickered on. Systems hummed to life. Inside a glass tank, something that was once human opened its eyes. Nearby, billions of microscopic machines began to stir. A black hole fragment suspended in a magnetic field pulsed with gravity waves. Earth's darkest weapons were waking up. The transport ship shuddered as it descended into Hangar 7. Dr. Kane gripped the metal rail, knuckles white. The 5 handlers sat across from him, each wearing the same gray uniform with a different colored band. Each connected to a different weapon. "Final approach," the pilot announced. "Prepare for containment transfer." The hangar doors slid open beneath them. Kane saw the 5 chambers arranged in a circle, each glowing with its own light. Red for the Reaper, green for the Swarm, blue for the Hollow, purple for the Whisper, yellow for the Breach. "I still think this is wrong," Kane said. Captain Voss, the Reaper's handler, checked her neural link. "Your objection is noted, Doctor." Again, the ship landed with a metallic clang. Guards with pulse rifles formed a perimeter. Technicians rushed forward with mobile containment units. "Begin transfer sequence," General Hayes ordered through the comm. "Time is critical." Kane followed the handlers down the ramp. The air in the hangar tasted like metal and ozone. Warning lights flashed along the walls. He approached the blue chamber where the hollow waited. Inside floated a woman. Or what had once been a woman. Her skin was gray. Her eyes were black holes, literally. The space around her bent and warped. She had volunteered for the experiment. She had not expected to survive it. "Hello, Eliza," Kane whispered. The woman's head turned toward him. The movement sent ripples through the air. Objects nearby shifted slightly toward her. "Dr. Kane," she said. Her voice came from everywhere and nowhere. "Are we going to war?" Before he could answer, alarms blared. Red emergency lights bathed the hangar. "Luminary ship is moving." Someone shouted. "They're taking position above the facility." Haze appeared on the main screen. "Accelerate transfer. Get those weapons on our ship now." Technicians rushed to obey. The chambers hissed open one by one. The handlers approached their weapons. Voss connected to the Reaper, a humanoid machine with too many joints and a face like a smooth mask. Its eyes lit up red as the neural link activated. Across the hangar, the swarm poured like liquid metal into a containment suit. Its handler, Singh, winced as billions of microscopic machines synchronized with his thoughts. Martinez approached the Whisper, a floating crystal that pulsed with purple light. As she neared it, everyone nearby felt a wave of dread wash over them. Chun carefully guided the breach into its housing. The yellow device looked simple, just a metal sphere with strange markings, but the air around it seemed to tear slightly when it moved. Kane stood before the hollow's open chamber. Eliza floated out, the gravity around her carefully controlled by the implant in Kane's wrist. "All weapons secured," Hayes announced. Board immediately. The floor shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The luminary ship was directly overhead. "They're scanning us," a technician shouted. "They know what we have." The weapons and handlers rushed toward the waiting ship, a sleek black vessel designed for one purpose, delivering Earth's darkest weapons to another world. Kane guided Eliza up the ramp. She turned to him, her black hole eyes somehow showing concern. "They're afraid of us," she said. "They should be," Kane replied. As the ship's doors closed, a blinding light filled the hangar. The luminary had fired something. The last thing Kane saw before the doors sealed was the hangar ceiling beginning to melt. The ship launched, breaking through the weakened roof and into the sky, carrying 5 Apocalypse weapons toward the stars. The ship emerged from jump space with a violent shudder. Alarms wailed. Emergency lights flashed red across the bridge. Kane grabbed the nearest console to stay upright. "Status report," Captain Voss demanded. The Reaper stood beside her, its metal body perfectly still despite the turbulence. "We've arrived at the luminary system," the pilot said. His fingers flew across the controls. "But something's wrong. These readings don't match our briefing." Through the view screen, Kane saw it. A massive blue-white star surrounded by 7 planets. But the third planet, supposedly the luminary homeworld, wasn't burning. It looked peaceful, beautiful. "Where are the Void Eaters?" Singh asked. Beside him, the swarm rippled inside its containment suit. "Scanning," the pilot said. "I'm picking up energy signatures near the 5th planet. They're strange, not like weapons fire." Voss frowned. "Take us closer." Weapons ready, the ship accelerated toward the 5th planet. As they approached, Kane saw them, dark shapes moving around the gas giant. They absorbed light rather than reflected it. They moved with purpose. "Those are the Void Eaters?" Martinez whispered. The whisper crystal pulsed in response to her fear. A transmission cut through their comms. The same luminary face from the original message appeared on screen. "Earth vessel, you have arrived. We welcome our champions." Voss stepped forward. "We detected no signs of conflict in your system. Explain." The luminary's expression didn't change. "The Void Eaters have been contained temporarily. Your arrival is timely. Dock with our orbital station for briefing. The transmission ended. A massive space station came into view, orbiting the third planet. It gleamed with blue light. I don't like this, John said. The breach hummed in its housing beside him. Kane felt Eliza, the hollow, move closer to him. The gravity around her bent the light slightly. They're lying, she said quietly. I can feel it. The space around them is wrong. Kane looked at her. What do you mean? The Void Eaters aren't attacking them. They're trying to escape. Before Kane could respond, the ship lurched forward. Blue light surrounded them. We're caught in some kind of tractor beam, the pilot shouted. Controls not responding. Weapons online, Voss ordered. Prepare 2. The ship's systems went dark. Emergency power kicked in seconds later. The weapons handlers checked their neural links. I've lost connection to the Reaper, Voss said, her voice tight with panic. Same with the swarm, Singh added. One by one, the handlers reported lost connections. All except Kane. He could still feel Eliza through his implant. The ship was pulled into a massive hangar inside the station. Through the view screen, they saw dozens of other ships. Different designs, different worlds. They've been collecting ships, Chun whispered. But why? The answer came as the hangar doors closed behind them. Luminary troops surrounded the ship, weapons ready. But they weren't alone. Beings from other worlds stood with them, their eyes empty, their movements mechanical. They're being controlled, Kane realized. The ship's doors opened with a hiss. Luminary soldiers marched inside. Their leader smiled at the humans. Thank you for bringing us such wonderful weapons, he said. Earth's champions will serve us well, just like all the others. Behind him, Kane saw the Reaper, the Swarm, the Whisper, and the breach being carried away by Luminary scientists. Only Eliza remained beside him, invisible to their sensors thanks to her gravity manipulation. What have we done? Kane whispered as the truth became clear. They hadn't been called to save the Luminary. They had been lured into a trap. The Luminary locked the humans in a cell with walls of blue energy. Kane sat on the metal bench, head in his hands. Voss paced back and forth. The others sat in stunned silence. They took our weapons, Singh said. All except the hollow. Kane felt Eliza's presence nearby, hidden by her gravity manipulation. The Luminary sensors couldn't detect her. She was their only hope. A screen on the wall flickered to life. The Luminary leader appeared, his blue skin glowing with satisfaction. Your weapons are impressive, he said. The most advanced we've ever collected. Soon they will join our arsenal. What are you doing with them? Voss demanded. The same thing we do with all technology we gather. We adapt it. We improve it. We use it to expand our reach. The screen split to show 4 separate labs. In each one, Luminary scientists worked on one of Earth's weapons. They attached devices to the Reaper. They studied samples of the Swarm. They placed the Whisper in a testing chamber. They scanned the breach with strange equipment. And the Void Eaters? Kane asked. They're not your enemies, are they? The Luminary leader smiled. They are simply the next civilization we will harvest. They have technology that can travel between dimensions. We want it. The screen changed to show the dark shapes moving around the gas giant. They weren't attacking. They were hiding. You've done this before, Chun realized. You send distress calls. You trick other worlds into sending their best technology. For centuries, the Luminary confirmed. Your Earth is just the latest to fall for our plea. Your weapons will help us finally capture the Void Eaters. The screen went dark. The humans looked at each other in horror. We need to stop them, Martinez said. If they control our weapons. An alarm suddenly blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed in the corridor outside their cell. Warning. Containment breach in Laboratory 1, a voice announced. The energy wall of their cell flickered and died. Kane felt Eliza appear beside him. I disabled it, she said. But we need to hurry. They ran into the corridor. Luminari soldiers rushed past them, heading toward the labs. No one noticed the escaped prisoners in the chaos. What's happening? Voss asked. A massive explosion shook the station. They grabbed the walls to stay upright. The failsafes, Kane explained as they ran. Each weapon has a hidden protocol. If separated from its handler for too long, it reverts to its primary directive. Which is what? Singh asked. Another explosion. Closer this time. Screams echoed down the corridor. Total annihilation of all threats, Kane said. They reached a viewport and froze at the sight. In Laboratory 1, the Reaper moved with impossible speed. Its metal body had changed, growing blades and weapons the humans had never seen. It cut through Luminari scientists like they were paper. In Laboratory 2, the swarm had escaped its containment. It flowed across the floor, walls, and ceiling, dissolving everything it touched. Luminari soldiers fired weapons at it, but the microscopic machines simply absorbed the energy. They don't understand what they've taken, Voss whispered. The station shook again. Emergency bulkheads began to close. We need to get to a ship, Kane said. Now, they ran toward the hangar, following Eliza. Behind them, the whisper had activated. Waves of purple energy pulsed through the station. Luminari dropped to the ground, clutching their heads as their worst fears became real. What about the breach? Chun asked as they ran. As if in answer, a section of the station simply vanished. Where Laboratory 4 had been, there was now just a hole in reality. Stars shone through it, but they weren't the stars of this galaxy. The weapons weren't just fighting back. They were tearing the station apart, and the Luminari had no idea how to stop them. The hangar was chaos. Fires burned in 3 ships. Luminari troops ran in all directions. The station shook constantly now. Metal groaned, lights flickered, air hissed from broken seals. There, Voss pointed to their ship. If we can reach it, a section of wall melted away. The swarm poured through the gap, consuming everything in its path. Luminari soldiers fired at it. Their weapons did nothing. The microscopic machines simply adapted and kept moving. This way, Kane pulled the group behind a cargo container. Stay low. They crawled between ships, avoiding the spreading destruction. The Reaper stalked through the hangar, its body now twice its original size. It had built new parts for itself from the station's materials. It killed with mechanical precision. The weapons are out of control, Singh whispered. They'll destroy everything. A scream cut through the air, not a human scream. Not Luminari either. It came from outside the station, from space itself. The Void Eaters, Eliza said. Her black hole eyes widened. They're in pain. Through the hangar's force field, they saw it. The breach had torn a hole in space near the gas giant. The dark shapes of the Void Eaters were being pulled toward it. Their bodies stretched and distorted as they fought against the pull. The weapons aren't just attacking the Luminari, Kane realized. They're attacking everything they perceive as a threat, including the Void Eaters. Martinez pointed to a Luminari shuttle near them. That's our best chance. Our ship is too far. They ran for the shuttle. Behind them, the Whisper floated into the hangar. Purple energy waves rolled off it. Luminari dropped to their knees, clawing at their own faces as their minds filled with terror. The group reached the shuttle. Chun worked the door controls. It slid open. "Get in," he shouted. Inside, Voss took the pilot's seat. Her military training kicked in as her fingers flew across the unfamiliar controls. "I can fly this," she said. Basic design is similar to ours. The engines hummed to life. The shuttle lifted off the hangar floor. "Wait," Kane said. He looked at Eliza. "We can't just leave. Those weapons will destroy everything. The Luminari, the Void Eaters, maybe this entire system. What can we do?" Singh asked. "We can't control them anymore." Eliza floated forward. I can still be controlled. Dr. Kane still has his link. Kane understood immediately. No, it's too dangerous. What is she suggesting? Voss asked, hands still on the controls. The hollow can create a gravity well strong enough to collapse the breach, Kane explained. But it would mean sacrificing myself, Eliza finished. The station shook violently. Through the view screen, they saw the breach growing larger. The tier in reality was expanding. Soon it would swallow the planet. We need to decide now, Voss said. Kane looked at Eliza. In her black hole eyes, he saw determination. And something else. Something human that had survived the experiment that turned her into a weapon. I was made to destroy, she said quietly. Let me save something instead. Kane nodded slowly. He raised his wrist where the control implant glowed blue. Take us closer to the breach, he told Voss. We have one chance to make this right. The shuttle turned toward the growing tier in space, flying directly into the heart of destruction.